This video is going to be a bit of an angry rant video. 321 Peep Street is a bit of a hockey fan. I originally spent most of my life in Massachusetts, rooting for the hometown Boston Bruins. I now live quite far away from there, but I still follow the team. And because I subscribe to various hockey channels on YouTube, I get recommended videos all the time. And I found myself watching a couple of highlight videos of Connor McDavid recently.
You know what, I'll do this myself. Takes a lot, puts it into high gear, and under that much speed, in tight, elevates it over top of Hutchinson. What a goal by Connor McDavid.
And that's what's inspired me to make this particular video. What the heck, Edmonton Oilers? It really got me thinking. I was watching these Connor McDavid videos, and I'm like, how many first overall picks have they had in the last 10 years? Now, admittedly, I'm not anywhere near the level of hockey fan I was 20, 25 years ago. I mostly just follow the Bruins, and I don't know too much about what's going on in the rest of the league, except when those teams are playing the Bruins. So I'm not an expert, and I don't claim to be. But I did a little bit of research, and going back to 2010, they've had 4 number 1 overall draft picks. 2010 was Taylor Hall. 2011 was Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. 2012 was Nail Yakupov. I've actually never heard of this guy before. Nail? His stats kind of give evidence as to why I've never heard of him. Seems like he hasn't really done too much. And then 2015, they hit the mother lode with Connor McDavid. And we're also going to give them an honorable mention because in 2014, 3rd overall, they got Leon Draisaitl, a 50-goal scorer. Now, admittedly, there is a measure of sour grapes involved because, these guys are getting all these first overall draft picks. And then what are they doing with them? What are they doing with their team? They've qualified for the playoffs once since they drafted Taylor Hall in 2010. Now, it does look like they're going to make the playoffs this year. So, congratulations, I guess. So, two postseason appearances in the last 10 years when your team is stacked with 4 first overall picks. You guys are lucky that relegation doesn't exist in the NHL. I kind of feel like if you get more than, 2 first overall picks in like a 7-year span, like the league shouldn't allow you to get more than that. Because at some point you have to say, yeah, maybe injuries are involved, but you got to look at your management, your coaching, and be like, hey, do you guys know what you're doing? This hit a nerve with me because I guess it took me back to, I still remember like the golden, what I like to call the golden years of hockey. That was back when pretty much every team had a 50-goal scorer. And it was not uncommon for a team to also have a guy that might get 130, 140 points, or even more. What did Gretzky have, like 216 one year, or something like that? So, it irks me that one team has got so many first-round draft picks over such a short period of time, and their team's just been garbage. Let me just point out also that, people can, no one really watches my videos, but people want to, throw some shade or hate in the comments. I just want to point out, I'm not attacking the fans of Edmonton, and I'm certainly not attacking their players. I just think that it's kind of sucks when one team keeps getting gifted all these first overall draft picks, and it's still a team that can't even make the playoffs. And I guess what really hit a nerve for me was, it just reminds me of when Edmonton had just the team of a lifetime. Back when they had Gretzky, Messier, Yari Curry, Glenn Anderson, Grant Fuhr, Paul Coffey. Half their team was Hall of Famers. And it irked me back then because the greatest player on the planet, quite possibly the greatest player who ever lived, Wayne Gretzky, spent basically his entire career on the West Coast. I admit it, I'm bitter. I know he had a couple years in St. Louis, 1 or 2, I guess, and a couple years with the Rangers, but that was at the end. And it always made me think just how much more popular the NHL would have been if Wayne Gretzky had played the first 10 years of his career with the Rangers, for example. I'm not even a Rangers fan. I'm a Bruins fan. But just someplace, East Coast, a sports mecca, a place where he would have got tons of coverage. Now, I realize that just putting Wayne Gretzky on the Rangers in 1980 might not have made for the career that he had because, as I mentioned, all those amazing players that he had in Edmonton all through the 80s, they were all phenomenal. But now when I look at Connor McDavid, it's like the Oilers have had these two generational talents, and McDavid's he's not even making the playoffs, never mind winning cups, and he's buried all the way up in Edmonton, where, look, the vast majority of just sports watching people like can't even see this guy, except if he, like, the one time of the year that he's gonna come to your town. It seems like such a waste of an opportunity from a publicity standpoint. You obviously can't force a team to trade a talent to another city where you get more exposure. But man, what a waste. What a waste of talent. If you say Connor McDavid's name to an average sports fan, they're going to think you're talking about that boxing guy. Conor McGregor? Is that his name? I'm not a fight fan. So, that's my video. It looks like Edmonton's on pace to make the playoffs this year. I mean, good for them. I mean, hopefully they'll do something. But, I mean, half their games start at 10:30 at night. They end at close to 1 in the morning. So everyone on the East Coast that would like to follow the team can't even really do it. I mean, if it wasn't for the internet and YouTube, it's like, how would we even know these players even exist? I'm ranting, I know. And again, fans of Edmonton, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that your team keeps getting all these first-round draft picks and they can't do anything. Rant over. For now.